What's up, wrestling fans? You're watching Fight Talks News, the one-stop spot for every WWE headline and showdown. Subscribe now and ring that bell. Let's get started. SmackDown turned into one of those nights where you couldn't take your eyes off the screen, and even if you blinked, you might have missed a defining moment. Tonight was more than just another episode. It was about shifting momentum, testing reputations, and seeing just how far the top stars are willing to go to prove themselves. The energy in the arena was electric from start to finish, and the storylines that unfolded tonight were a perfect example of why SmackDown continues to captivate audiences week after week. The tension that hung in the air from the opening moments hinted that something big was coming, and the events that followed didn't disappoint. Jade's commanding presence. The night opened with Jade standing tall, exuding confidence and calm in a way that immediately grabbed the audience's attention. Every step she took, every glance she cast, seemed to convey a clear message. She was in control, and the night belonged to her. There was a palpable intensity in the air, a sense that Jade's dominance was not something to challenge lightly. Her posture, her expression, and even the way she absorbed the reactions of the crowd all spoke volumes. Jade wasn't just a competitor. She was a force, someone who thrived on the pressure and knew exactly how to command the spotlight. Jackie steps. But just when it seemed Jade had the arena in her grasp, Jackie appeared, creating a moment of suspense. The timing was perfect, and the question on everyone's mind was finally addressed. What did Jade have to say about the events of last week on SmackDown? The tension in the arena was almost tangible as fans waited to hear Jade's response. Would she reflect, apologize, or double down on her earlier actions? The anticipation was electric, and Jackie's presence added just the right amount of suspense to the unfolding drama. Jade's calculated response. Jade didn't hesitate. In fact, she smiled. A smile that was calm, measured, and a little unsettling. She began by acknowledging the resilience shown by Mike, noting that it was unexpected for someone to bounce back after a tough week. Jade's words were clever. She framed Mike's perseverance not as impressive, but as surprising. It was a subtle way of asserting her mindset and dominance without resorting to direct confrontation. Jade then outlined her outlook moving forward, emphasizing that anyone standing in her way would have to face significant challenges. She even offered a form of recognition, suggesting she was willing to give Mike some attention, but only briefly, before moving forward with her own plans. Her delivery was cold and precise, a calculated mix of respect and warning that left the crowd buzzing. Mike's bold entrance. And just when Jade seemed in complete control, Mike entered the scene in a dramatic fashion, making her presence known instantly. Rather than seeking revenge, Mike's actions were about making a statement. She wasn't afraid, she wasn't backing down, and she was ready to assert herself in a bold way. The arena erupted as the unexpected moment unfolded, and it was clear that the dynamic between these two competitors had shifted. What could have been a straightforward confrontation turned into a defining moment of character development for both stars, emphasizing their personalities and their approach to competition. The crowd reacts. The audience's response was immediate and intense. Fans rose to their feet, voices filling the arena as they tried to process what had just happened. Moments like this are what make SmackDown so engaging. The combination of surprise, skill, and personality creates an energy that is almost tangible. The reactions of the crowd weren't just about the actions themselves, but about what those actions represented. Mike's confidence, Jade's poise, and the interplay between the two told a story that was larger than any one move or comment. It was about resilience, strategy, and the ever-present tension between competition and respect. Recovering and reassessing. Jade's reaction following Mike's dramatic entrance was telling. There was a brief moment of shock, quickly replaced by a sense of urgency and reflection. Jade realized that her dominance, while still strong, could be challenged in ways she hadn't anticipated. This moment wasn't about defeat, but about learning that the landscape of competition is always shifting. In a way, it added depth to her character. She wasn't invincible, and tonight reminded the audience, and Jade herself, that even the most confident competitors must remain adaptable. Mike's message. Mike's presence and actions sent a clear message. She's ready to stand her ground and prove her worth. The significance of this moment goes beyond simple rivalry. It establishes her as a competitor willing to assert herself, take risks, and challenge expectations. Her energy was contagious, and the audience couldn't help but respond to the courage and determination she displayed. Mike's actions weren't reckless. They were deliberate, designed to make a statement without resorting to extreme measures, showing her growth and the development of her persona. The ripple effect. What unfolded tonight isn't just a one-off moment. It sets the stage for future confrontations and storylines. Jade and Mike's dynamic is now a central focus, and the implications are wide-ranging. Will Jade adjust her approach? Will Mike continue to push boundaries? The tension is real, the stakes are high, and fans are left eagerly anticipating what comes next. Tonight's events serve as a reminder that in the world of SmackDown, no one's position is ever guaranteed, and every interaction can redefine a storyline in meaningful ways. Strategic storytelling. This episode highlighted how carefully WWE crafts its narratives. It wasn't about reckless actions or gratuitous drama. It was about building character, establishing rivalries, and keeping viewers invested in the unfolding stories. Jade's dominance, Mike's resilience, and the interplay between them created layers of storytelling that are both entertaining and meaningful. Every movement, every expression, and every line of dialogue was designed to advance the storyline while giving fans a glimpse into the personalities and strategies of the competitors involved, setting the stage for the future. As SmackDown moves forward, the events of tonight will likely have lasting consequences. Both Jade and Mike demonstrated qualities that will continue to shape their careers. Jade with her calculated confidence and strategic dominance, and Mike with her courage and determination to assert herself. The audience is now fully engaged in their journey, eager to see how this rivalry develops, and invested in the outcomes of future confrontations. It's storytelling at its finest, dramatic, unpredictable, and emotionally engaging. Final thoughts. Tonight's SmackDown wasn't just an episode, it was a statement. It reminded fans why they tune in week after week, combining skill, personality, and tension to create unforgettable moments. Jade and Mike have both emerged as key figures in this ongoing narrative, and the events of tonight have elevated their rivalry to new heights. The episode demonstrated that dominance can be challenged, resilience matters, and moments of surprise can redefine how fans perceive their favorite stars. SmackDown continues to prove that it's more than just wrestling. It's storytelling in motion, with characters, stakes, and energy that captivate audiences. Whether you're watching for the athleticism, the drama, or the evolving storylines, tonight's episode delivered on every level. And with Jade and Mike at the center of the action, fans can be sure that the next chapter will be just as compelling, intense, and impossible to look away from.